Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. I'm Sheldon Barlett Rumor, and this is it. Welcome back to This Is It TV. This Is It Network is your global digital TV network connecting remarkable women to inspiring stories. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Monday. We do that through our growing community, our engaging content, and the real connections that we provide. I do this Monday through Friday at around 11 o'clock Eastern. I know I'm a little late. It's 11:06. I'm looking at the clock. I was caught up. I was caught up in an email. It was a very engaging email. I was drafting and I was like, oh, it's 11 o'clock. Well, thank you so much for joining me. This is morning message number 368, which is kind of crazy. Every time I say it day after day, the numbers obviously keep going up and I just keep getting in awe of all of it. But I do this not only for all of you, but for me, just to keep myself abreast of what's kind of happening and what my thought process is. And today it's about the rat race. I have to tell you, I did a great job when I was forced to sit down during this pandemic. I was forced to kind of be not only safe at home, but forced to get out of the rat race of things. And so I was an individual who was moving on autopilot. I don't know if a lot of you were in that same position. I was on autopilot. I had to take the kids from here to here. I had to go to the studio in Center City, Philadelphia. I currently live in Southern New Jersey. I didn't even know how I got over the bridge in order to get to work. It was just one of those fluent scenarios, right? I would go through the motions. I stopped and got my coffee, all of the regimented things that I did, but it was a rat race of things to the point where I didn't even really participate in what it was that I was doing. It was just part of the day-to-day of it. And so what I learned during the pandemic and that time that I had the opportunity to be safe at home was that I was going to really not go back to that, right? That was the goal. I was like, I'm not going to go back to living in this rat race. I'm not going to go back to just going through the motions. I'm going to be able to stop and smell the roses. I'm going to appreciate everything that I've got going on. I'm going to take a minute, digest, and then things began to open up. Things began to open up. My calendar began to stack itself on top of itself, right? And now in the Zoom space, I don't know if any of you do this as well, we don't leave the commuter time. There used to be a time from one meeting to the other because it was in different rooms. It was a different space. You gave yourself an opportunity to go to the bathroom. You gave yourself an opportunity to move your car, to go and drive from one meeting to the other. That no longer happened because the Zoom meetings were one on top of the other. Whether it was the Meetup meetings, the Google Meets, whatever it was one on top of the other. And so I found myself not giving myself enough time in between or time at all. I found myself getting back into the rat race. I found myself competing against myself and others as to how much I was going to get done and what I needed to do. And I knew at that point that I wasn't really taking the time to smell the roses. I wasn't taking time to pay attention to what I was doing. I was running again, different space, different time, right? I'm still not in my car as much as I used to be. I'm still not, running to the Dunkin' Donuts as much as I used to be, even though I miss my good old Dunkin'. It's one of those things that I found myself getting back into that rat race. And for all of you that are out there that are back into that space, that are feeling now that things are beginning to open up and that regiments are getting back to so quote unquote kind of normal, are you finding that you are in that rat race? Are you finding that you are back in that swing of things? And I want you to put the halt on it a little bit, right? And figure out whether or not it's for you that you're doing this, whether it's necessity or habit, right? Do you really need to pack your schedule the way in which your schedule is packed? Do you need to be able to allocate all of that time to things to be busy being busy? Or is there a better way to do it? Is there a more strategic way to do it that affords you the ability to breathe? And a lot of times, and believe me, if you told Sheldon BQ before quarantine that I had the time, I would have been like, you don't know, girl, guy, friend, I'm busy. I got things to do, right? And then when we were forced to stop, we were forced to be hopefully safe at home, we realized that those things weren't necessities. Those things were done out of habit and not because we needed to. And so I changed my life completely, and what it is that I was doing became far more fulfilled. But then now I find that as things are opening up, I am packing that schedule, and I just needed to give myself a little bit of a halt. And so today's morning message is about that, kind of looking at that rat race. Are you competing against yourself? Are you running against your own calendar and schedule? Are you packing yourself to the rim or to the brim, excuse me, because there's a need of, there's a sense of scarcity that if you don't pack yourself to the rim, what am I saying? To the rim. If you don't pack yourself to the rim, you'll miss out, that it won't be there tomorrow. And so I promised myself that I wouldn't get back. And I'm telling you this because I was packing myself. I was packing myself one on top of the other. I was giving myself no breathing room. And those Zoom meetings were one after the other with no break. And felt as if I was getting myself back into the groove. But that back into the groove, what does that mean? That back into the groove meant stress and unnecessary, anxiety about what I needed to get done. I don't want to get back into that groove. Maybe it's time that I find a new groove. That the rat race doesn't have to feel that way anymore. It doesn't have to be that overwhelming. It doesn't have to cause me angst because, truth be told, I set my schedule. I can say who I meet and who I don't meet, where I go and where I don't go. I can set that tone. So I want you to think about the rat race that you are in. Are you racing against strangers? You racing against yourself? You exhausting yourself for no reason? Can it wait till tomorrow? Think about what your days look like. And are you getting back into the bad habits that you had BQ before quarantine? Or are you walking in AQ into a bigger and badder situation? Badder meaning better situation. Think about that for me, because I've been thinking a lot about it. And am I going to go back to that uncomfortable space where I packed myself so desperately when I was functioning in such a desperate way? Or am I going to really have control of my life moving forward? And am I going to afford myself the necessary time, not only to get things done, but to breathe, to appreciate where it is that I am and who it is that I'm with? So I want you to think about that rat race. Are you in it? Are you racing against yourself? Are you going back to your BQ before quarantine methods of scarcity and nervousness that you will not get enough done in one day, so you pack yourself and then collapse at the end of it, as opposed to enjoying your evenings? And I found myself doing that. I found myself collapsing into the sofa, into the bed, watching mindless television because I was so drained from the day. I deserve to enjoy my evening. I enjoy to eat slowly, to sip long, right? Because my day was useful, not because my day exhausted me, not because it beat me up, but because I beat my day. And so I want you guys to think about that rat race. I want you to think about how you function within it, what it is that you are up to, what can be moved, deleted, changed around, with hopes that you don't get back into that rat race again. I want you to give that some thought. I want you to think about the rat race that you have been running before BQ, before quarantine, and what your life is going to look like moving forward. And I hope that it affords you time to stop and smell the roses. I'm Sheldon Bartlett Rumer, and this is it. I am so grateful that you join me each and every day, Monday through Friday at 11 o'clock Eastern. My hope is for all of you to find your voice, for you to begin to tell your story, for you to no longer whisper your wishes. It's time for all of you to scream your dream. For more information on This Is It TV, log on to thisisit.tv.com. And you can follow, fan, and like us everywhere you find at This Is It TV. More shows, more courses, all can be found at This Is It TV or thisisit.tv. Log on to all of our platforms. Stalk us freely. We love to hear from you. Inspiration, again, can be found everywhere you find at This Is It TV. I will see you again tomorrow. You better be careful of that rat race. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.